Hey guys, Josh from soccerreviewsforyou.com bringing you my review plus on-feet video of the kangaroo leather TechCraft Nike Hypervenom Phantom 2 in the latest light bone and black colorway. Now inside the box they do include a string bag to go along with the shoes themselves. The string bag is black in color with black strings. It features a light bone Nike swoosh on the one side and your light bone Nike football branding on the other. Other than that, all you're going to find inside the box, as you guys can see, are the shoes themselves. So we'll get these guys out of the box really quickly, and we'll take a closer look at what is a really good looking colorway of the Hypervenom Phantom 2 in the kangaroo leather TechCraft variation. Now in this video, we are of course going to take a closer look at the colorway itself. We're going to go over tech specs, performance features, and really the differences between this model and the regular synthetic model of the Phantom 2. We're going to take a look at the weight of the shoe, as well as talk about how these things fit and feel on feet. So if you're interested in learning more, please stick around and watch the entire video. If you're interested in a pair of these for yourself, be sure to check out the review page on my website. That'll be the very first link down below in the description of this video. On that page, you'll find Buy It Now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes, where you'll be able to pick these guys up below their normal $300 retail price. So again, if you're interested in a pair, first link down below, go ahead and check it out. And with that being said, let's get right into the review. All right, to start things off, let's take a closer look at the colorway. Now, a lot of online stores will show this shoe looking a lot more white than it actually is in person. This is something I've talked about in my other videos on this particular TechCraft pack, and hopefully it comes through in this video, although they probably will look more white than they do in person. This light bone color is more of like a really light gray, almost like a dirty white type look. You can see little imperfections in the leather. You can see little scars and scratches and just imperfections in general. It's almost like undyed leather, has this very natural look and feel to it. It's not for everybody. If you don't like your shoes to look kind of dirty and worn, this is not a colorway pack that you should go for. You should completely avoid it. But if you like that kind of worn, almost battle scar look to your shoes, which I personally think is kind of cool, this is definitely one of those colorway packs to look into, especially if you like white shoes, but don't necessarily want to stress about keeping them clean, because this is one of those shoes that is going to be next to impossible to keep clean, especially once it starts getting all scuffed up and stuff from just general use, either from kicking the ball and from other players obviously coming in contact with your feet. Now, just to give you guys a quick side-by-side comparison, here is a Nike ID Hypervenom Phantom 2 in what is a pure white. Obviously these aren't leather, but you can see side by side the difference in the brightness of the two colors is significant. This is a bright white. This is, like I said, more of like a grayish, kind of almost natural leather type look. Not for everybody, but I personally don't mind it at all. As far as other colors you're going to find on the shoe, obviously black is the main accent. It's really the only two colors you're going to find. You have that in the laces, the center part where the tongue would be located, the collar, the back part of the heel. Obviously you have a solid light bone Nike swoosh along with your Hypervenom branding right there at the back. Black outline for the swoosh at the front, ACC branding in a light gray color. Then of course the entire sole plate is black in color aside from a single light bone Nike swoosh. So very simple colorway. I personally like how it looks, but let me know your opinions on it down below in the comment section. Do you like these? Why or why not? And with that being said, let's move on to the tech specs so we can learn a little bit more about the overall performance. As far as performance is concerned, believe it or not, the TechCraft Phantom 2 out of the entire pack is definitely the most similar in terms of feel when compared to the synthetic variation. So the TechCraft Phantom 2 and the regular Phantom 2, in my opinion, there's not a huge difference between the two. We're going to talk about that as well as other general performance features in this video that I think you should know about. But if you guys do want more information or you just want to see the shoes in action, you can check out my playtest video of the entire TechCraft pack, which I'll leave an annotation to on screen. You can go ahead and check it out if you haven't already. So with this shoe, it's not a standard Phantom 2 in the sense that it has a solid Nike skin upper. What you're going to find is that the upper is actually pretty much majority kangaroo leather at the front. So the part that you do see as leather is in fact leather, as you guys can see by the side profile. But it does have the same liner as the synthetic model of the Phantom 2, which is also very, very thin. You can see it here on the sides. It's black, so it's a little bit hard to see. But essentially what it is a super thin layer of kind of synthetic leather material, I guess. But it's kind of plasticky. It's got this very kind of hard quality to it that really takes away from what would otherwise be a super soft leather upper in terms of what you can feel when this shoe is on your foot. So because of that actual liner material, despite the upper being a lot softer and a lot more flexible than what you're going to find from the traditional Nike skin found on a regular Phantom 2, the overall feel is actually quite similar. Again, just because that liner stiffens things up so significantly, reinforces the leather so you don't really lose out on any responsiveness going from synthetic to leather, which is kind of what you would expect, but it does take away from that softness and kind of natural flexibility that you would expect to feel from a kangaroo leather soccer shoe. So for that reason alone, the actual feel on feet, yes, the TechCraft model is a little bit softer, a little bit more flexible, and does provide a slightly different touch on the ball than the synthetic model, but the overall feel and kind of experience of playing in them, like I said, not that far off from the standard synthetic variation, which again, very surprising. So obviously the upper is kangaroo leather. It's thin though, so it doesn't provide really much of a padded sensation on the ball. It's just kind of a slightly cushioned feel, a little bit more so than what you would get from the standard Nike skin upper that really doesn't have any kind of padding to it at all, but this still definitely comes across as a relatively thin shoe, and it does still have the flywire construction as far as support is concerned. So flywire runs from the base of the sole into the actual lacing system, so when you do pull the laces out, your foot is locked in place very securely, making this one of the most responsive, if not the most responsive shoe on the market. Again, pretty much on par with the synthetic model. There's no real drop off in responsiveness despite the slightly softer upper. The upper is also finished off with ACC all conditions control, acting as your wet control element, and because it is actually leather, it does have a slightly different kind of feel on the ball in terms of just friction. It's a little bit more natural, more like a leather shoe because it is technically a leather shoe. So laces are off-centered as you would expect. Nothing too real significant as far as performance is concerned. It just moves the laces slightly further to the side so you get a little bit of a cleaner surface to make contact with the ball when you're shooting. This of course is a Phantom 2, so it does have the mid-cut design. The collar itself, no performance benefit to it. It just gives the shoe a little bit of a different look, and of course does change the way the shoe fits and feels in the heel, something we will talk about more a little bit later in the video during the on-feet portion. The inside does have a smooth synthetic leather liner with minimal amounts of padding. Insole, fully removable. I'll give you guys a quick look at that. Features a mesh liner on top, solid insole, no perforations. It's just a single layer of this kind of ortholite style, kind of very airy foam. A nice amount of underfoot cushioning and actually a pretty decent insole given the relatively lightweight and thin construction of this particular shoe. And then moving on to the actual sole plate, you are going to find a glass nylon sole plate that is actually relatively flexible, a little bit stiff at first, but once you break it in, you shouldn't have too many issues with it. And of course you get the Hypervenom stud pattern that basically is a conical stud version of what you get from the Mercurial. So not quite as aggressive as far as bite is concerned, but you still get plenty of grip when pushing off. And because they are rounded in shape, you do get that freedom to twist and pivot when your foot is planted. So as far as traction is concerned, no complaints regarding the Hypervenom. Most people seem to like it. And like I said, it's not something that you should have any issues with. But that's pretty much it as far as tech specs and performance is concerned. If you're trying to decide between the leather and synthetic version of the Phantom 2, really the main difference is that the leather version has a slightly thicker upper with a very, very slight amount of padding. But other than that, the difference between the two is pretty minimal. In terms of weight, I thought we'd compare the synthetic version of the Phantom 2 to the TechCraft variation to see if there's any significant weight difference between the two. So I'm going to be weighing both shoes for you today in real time using this scale. Keep in mind they're both in brand new condition and both the exact same size 9 US, so this is a very fair comparison. We'll start off with the standard synthetic model, throw it on the scale, and you can see that they weigh in at 7.7 ounces, the equivalent of 218 grams. So remember those numbers, change the scale back to ounces, pull these off, and we'll throw on the TechCraft variation, and you can see that they weigh in at 7.7 ounces, the equivalent of 219 grams. So technically 1 gram more than the synthetic variation, which is pretty much nothing. There is basically no weight difference between these two shoes, either in hand or on feet. So again, if you're trying to decide between the two, the difference is very, very minimal and weight should not be the deciding factor. All right, so here is a look at the shoes on feet. On my left foot, I have the stock black laces that come with the shoes. And on my right foot, I have a pair of black and white chevron SR4U replacement laces. If you're interested in a pair of replacement laces for yourself, the website to go to is www.sr4ulaces.com. You find a direct link to that website down below in the description of this video. Now, in terms of how these things fit and feel on feet, despite being kangaroo leather instead of the usual Nike Skin synthetic, like I mentioned, it has the same liner as the synthetic model, so the shoe doesn't feel particularly soft against your foot. It has an overall firm sensation, which you wouldn't expect given that the upper is kangaroo leather. Does it get softer over time? Absolutely. And it definitely is more flexible than the regular version of the Phantom 2. But again, if you're looking for that kind of soft leather feel against your foot, you just don't get that from this particular model. It's locked down, it's fairly firm, and it's a very, very responsive feel. So if that's what you like, you're definitely going to get that from the TechCraft version of the Phantom 2, just with a slightly thicker upper and a slightly more padded touch on the ball without really that much padding. This still does feel like a relatively thin shoe, similar to the synthetic model. As far as the overall fit and comfort level of the shoe is concerned, it's a tighter fitting model. Again, like all the mid-cut models from Nike, the heel is really the main aspect of the fit that people are going to struggle with in terms of breaking them in. It's really, really important that you take things slow. Don't wear these straight into a game. Don't wear them straight into a free kick session or something like that. Really take your time with them. Wear them around your house. Do a lot of jogging, juggling, really kind of less intense movements and activities in the shoes until you start to feel like they are really, really comfortable on your feet, at which point then you can wear them into a game, then you can do some more intense movements and see how it goes from there. You can avoid the blisters, again, as long as you take things slowly. So just keep that in mind, not just with this shoe, but with any of the mid-cut models from Nike. As far as width is concerned, it's a tighter fitting shoe, and because of the Flywire support system, these aren't going to stretch despite being kangaroo leather. So for the most part, the way they fit from right out of the box, that is the way they're going to fit for their entire lifespan, but they will fit most people. As long as you don't have excessively wide feet, you shouldn't have any issues as far as width is concerned. And in terms of sizing, I'm wearing my usual size 9 US here, and the fit and length is absolutely perfect. So if you are looking to order a pair of these for yourself, I would strongly recommend going true to size in order to achieve the best possible fit. All right, guys, that is it for my review of the TechCraft Hypervenom Phantom 2 from Nike in the light bone and black colorway. If you guys are interested in more info, be sure to check out the very first link down below in the description of this video. That's going to take you to the review page on my website, where you'll find the high quality images of this exact pair that I took myself. That'll give you a better idea as to how these actually do look in person. And you'll also find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes, where you'll be able to pick these guys up below their normal $300 retail price. So again, if you're interested in a pair, first link down below, go ahead and check it out. If you have any questions at all regarding the TechCraft Phantom 2, leave them down below in the comments, and I definitely will get an answer out to you. If you enjoyed today's video, found it helpful and informative, be sure to support it with a like. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all my social media information linked in the description as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video, and as always, thanks for watching.